Okay, this is a gerotor oil pump. You can see how the gears kind of mesh together. The wear on this back plate between the gears. Usually this is kind of a throwaway, but you can see we've got the two gears here. See how there's backlash between those? We need to make sure we have that. There's no sealant that goes on these. It basically just bolts in this hole right here, like so. It's got 4 bolts that hold it in. They torque to 18 foot-pounds. And once we get that done, we'll check backlash, make sure we have it. You can measure it if you want. You learn over the years that you can feel it. You'll know if that's good or not. Hey, we want to make sure this bore is clean. I forgot to mention that. And then they pre-primed the oil pump with some 1540. That's basically what this is. This plastic plate here is actually what seals it to the housing. So you want to pull these in evenly. And they torque to 18, like I said. Not rocket science on this one. Like I said, these are kind of a throwaway pump, so you don't typically do a lot with them. And come up here and torque them. Go around, check them again, and check, make sure we have backlash, which I can feel it there. You can kind of hear it going clink, clink, clink. Okay, we're going to put our front cover on. Here's the gasket that goes behind it. It's a reusable type, this one is. Sets on here like so. And here's our cover. It's going to go the dowel on top. We got to hit. And then we got to make sure the gasket lines up correctly. Torque the bolts down, and that's pretty well done. A lot of these are held on with the front cover, because you can see these bolts go all the way through on some of these. There's C3 here. So I want to make sure my gasket's right, and it looks like it is. This is our timing reference sensor for the camshaft, so that's going to monitor cam position. There's going to be a crank position sensor that runs off the crank on the bottom. A bolt there, and a bolt there. And then, like I say, you can't install the rest until you get the cam and the front cover in. Okay, I like to start all my front cover bolts that go through the block to make sure everything's lined up. And then I'm going to come through and torque these bolts. That kind of helps line everything up and make sure it's going to line up right. So check backlash. We've got backlash there between those two gears, Okay, we're going to put our tappets in. They've got a little tang here. This one's weird. You have to put it in from the bottom of the engine. See if I can get it in there. Okay, it fell down in there. You can kind of see it in there. Here's intake. We had them labeled. Okay, then we're going to have to turn our crankshaft a little bit. Also, this is our crank position sensor. There's a sensor on the side of the block over here that tells the ECM where number 1 top dead center is. Okay, exhaust is towards the back. This is the rear of the engine. They don't fit in there very good. So there's 5. Okay, here's 4. We got to turn the crankshaft so we can get to it. So I can't get my big old fat fingers down in there. See, there's some balling on that, scarring. Didn't have enough lube in it. I've dumped some oil down in here before I did this. May have to get a magnet or something. There it goes. Here's intake. Same thing, it's got some spalling on it. This is one of those things that when you change the camshaft, you change the lifters. They're a match set. Okay, there's intake. Cam bushings can be replaced if they need to be. Usually if I had a camshaft out this far, I'd probably go ahead and replace them. Especially these, because they look kind of cruddy. So we'll turn it so we can get to the next one. Okay, here's two. So if you've got big hands, you're probably going to have to get a magnet or some kind of gripper. Put these in here. You have to make sure they fall all the way down. I'll also go dump some more oil on these when we're done, to make sure that there's plenty of oil in it. Because if you had to do a camshaft in one of these, what you have to do to get the camshaft out is have the engine either inverted on a stand like we are, or you're going to have to put it, they have a certain size dowel rod that goes into that lifter and holds it up. So now when I do this, I'll roll the engine up on the front. That'll make sure those stay down after I pour some oil in there to hold them. We'll dump some oil on them, make sure there's plenty of lube there. Getting some in the cam too while I'm at it. Like a engine assembly lube or something. Works a little better sometimes too, because it's a little more sticky. This has some Lucas oil, which is thicker in it. And like I say, I'm trying to get bushings too while I'm at it. Okay, we're going to install a camshaft. We're going to look at these lobes really good, make sure there's no dead spots in it as we go in. I've wiped it off already. I don't see anything bad on this one. I lubed my bearings already. I just hook it up with a crane. It's the easiest way I've found. I'm going to work it in. Basically took an eye and welded a size bolt to thread it in the camshaft here. Kind of a trick to get in. If you're patient, slowly lower it in. Like I said, I'm looking at all my lobes as I go. Kind of have to finagle it. So it'll hang up on the lobes as you go in. That's what damages the cam bearings. Just kind of keep turning it so that it kind of finds its home, goes in pretty nice and easy. Also got to time this. Oops, see there we hung up. There we go. See this bolt I made? This thing only weighs 40-50 pounds. It's not real heavy. My retainer's down here. It's already on there. I just have to put the bolts in it. And I also need to time the camshaft to the crankshaft. That's super important. We'll get a little closer, show you. There we go. Make sure this is in the right spot. So this thing's kind of a pain to do. There you can see the O to O. There's another O over here that will go to my fuel pump. This is a common rail fuel system, so it's not that important, but it is. It has to do with vibration issues, but you can see right there, there, and there is where the teeth line up. So the engine is timed. The reason I can tell is there's 2 zeros there and 1 there. If you look at the other gear, that goes right here when we put the fuel pump on, right there. See that, nope, that gear would go like that, and the engine would be timed. Okay, now I need to put my cam retainer bolts in. I'm going to have to pick it up just a hair so I can get them started. Those torqued to 18 foot-pounds as well. It's basically standard bolt torque. There's no special torque on it. Okay, and those down. I'm going to let the crane down this way. There's no tension on it. You wouldn't get this out if you hadn't have lifted the lifters up on this thing. Okay, so this comes off. And here's what we did. We got a lifting eye essentially that bolts it in here. Mess with that because you can actually twist it out. I had a guy just about drop the cam putting it in because they were turning it as they were going in. So there's what we did. And we're going to torque those two bolts and the camshaft's installed. So we need to check our backlash on our gear, which you can see we have plenty there. That's probably 8 thousandths or so.